Morning, Bill.
How are you, man?
Doing good.
Good. Let me move this down so it doesn't look like I'm just like looking around like an idiot.
Okay.
What's going on, man? How was your day?
It was good. It was good. I got done about 3:45. I was looking at my stuff and I was like, I can be done. Right there.
I had a call at 3:15 to 4 yesterday, and it was this newer acquaintance guy. He has heard the podcast, so I don't know if he found me there or if we got connected and then he's been listening to the podcast. But he's a super smart consultant. He sold an idea to a company and they hired him on the spot, and now he's not really getting the traction as a consultant that he's hoping for to bring change and implement ideas. And so we got to talk through some ways of dealing with that, and he was blown away, and it was just like so nice and validating that he was like, yeah, that's exactly what I got to go do. I got to go have this conversation and everything else like this. It was super, super nice. Good morning, Michelle. And so it was like we were chatting, and I was like, man, I think there's more for us to talk about. I'd like to help you out with that. And he was like, okay. And then I was about to be like, can I tell you what it looks like? And then I looked up, it's like 3:58, and I said, Matt, I have to go. And he was like, what? I was like, I've made an agreement that I will be done at 4:00 every day this week. So we're almost at time and I got to go. I said, can I follow up with you tomorrow via Messenger and we'll figure out when we're going to chat again? He said, absolutely. So I said, okay. But it was funny because Melissa came in like right after I got on the phone, and she was like, are you done? And I was like, yeah, I'm done. And yeah, it was awesome. So good day yesterday. I had two really good conversations with prospects. I guess prospects, I talked to this one team, and they've got a social media and an agency, and they're in Pakistan, and they're trying to find a way that they can get a salesperson here because they really want to break into the U.S. market. And we're talking about some of the struggles of that, just because they're in Pakistan, and not everybody wants to work with someone who's not U.S. based. And we talked about some of that. We talked about how to sell, around that and deal with it up front. And so we're going to keep talking about potentially me like offering their services to people who I think might need them, or trying to get them set up with like a blueprint and a closer, here in the U.S. And what else yesterday? I got my walk-in, which was awesome. So I did 2.3 miles with 15 pounds in the rucksack, which is pretty awesome.
Okay, I was going to ask you how the sack went, the backpack.
Yeah, the backpack feels really, really good, honestly. Especially for the price point, because like I was looking at some bags that were, $150, $200, and then this is just the REI branded hiking backpack. It was like $80, and I got it on my dividend because I'm a member, so I got it for free essentially. So,
wow. Yeah,
it's been really solid. Would like to do a short one of these today because we're going for another walk with my lady, if you will. And yeah, man, it's been awesome. Today, I've got a busy day. I have to go meet a client, talk through some stuff. I've got 1, 2, 3 calls with different people. A couple of these are interviews for a closer spot that we're trying to fill for one of my clients. So that'll be exciting. And then one is just a closer. So I don't really know what she wants to talk about, they want to talk about. They're trans, so they use they pronouns. Gonna have that conversation, and we'll see how it goes. I need to get my Sherpa done today, so that's okay. The big thing to get it off the to-do list is to get the Sherpa done. I sent out one of the schedules yesterday to try to get the session with the expert booked. I need to send the other one today, and then I'm gonna try to write out one of these full sections to because that's my bill bet this week, right? Or 2 asks for the outside help, and then two chapters along with all my non-negotiable weekly stuff. Mm-hmm. What about you?
I had a busy day yesterday. It was more of a production day for me, so it made it easier to stop at the 4:00 because I just had to make sure my stuff was cranked out, and my calls were in the morning. So
yeah,
I did end up having a call at 3, but it ended at 3:45, and that's when I was like, all right, we can do this. Um, I'm still looking for a social media ads person. I've got a phone call today at 10, hopefully, to chat with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I have another kind of ask out there. Oh, and I talked to Ken Lentz, Inline.
Yeah.
Him yesterday. It was good to catch up with him, and he, he does paid advertising and measurement stuff like that, but he's more the execution guy, not the strategy and so he might be a good person to help us execute. But we're kind of looking for somebody to take the reins and be like, here's how you should use Facebook. Here's how you should use.
Did you talk to that one agency that you got recommended for social media dominance or something like that?
Oh, no, I didn't, because I only got a phone number, and I just don't call people normally. I had my normal flow of, stuff like that. So, I absolutely need to call them today. Good call. Right now.
Because the person who recommended that was speaking incredibly highly of the results.
I'm going to call them.
And honestly, this team that I talked to yesterday could be a good fit for you guys.
Okay.
I'm not sure yet. We were just kind of chatting and vetting, but it seemed like they knew what they were doing, and so I was like, hey, I'd love to see some information about who you kill it for and who you don't.
Right.
Because that's my first test, right? If you're going to come sell me something, or if you want to come talk to me about partnering something, the first thing I'm going to ask you is, who have you done well for and who have you failed for? Because if you can't tell me who you failed for, I've got concerns, right?
So I've had a few conversations about it, and they asked, I love this question. They're like, who's your target market? They asked me, I'm like, oh, so you actually know what markets you're good at in social media. And so I've had 3 different e-commerce people be like, oh, well, I'm e-commerce, so I probably wouldn't be a good fit for you. I'm like,
that's huge.
Thank you.
I love that.
Yeah, me too. So, and you know what it is? The social dominance one? They don't have a website. And that just bugs me to death when they're supposed to be doing social media ads. Now, I'm not going to just pass them over because of that, but I remember now that's why I didn't call them initially. Because I was like, we don't have a website?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's a little weird, but I don't know. I think there's lots of people out there that are doing really cool, good stuff who are not the most marketed and people we don't even know about, right?
Agreed.
I'm hoping that to be the case, actually.
Well, I think it's totally possible. I think there are people that are really good at something and never mean it to be like a business. It's like their side hustle, and so they never even start a website. I actually know people who've done that. So, friends, actually. I'm like, bro, you gotta get a website. What's going on? Especially in the days of Wix we live in, where you could spin up a site in 20 minutes.
Do you like Wix?
No, I'm just saying Squarespace, Wix, all those.
I don't know how anybody stays on Wix when Squarespace is what it is. I don't know. And there's this new one that people are talking about called Webflow, which is supposed to be like the new WordPress.
Webflow's for the more advanced. It's a cross between WordPress and Squarespace. So you have to know some stuff. You have to know some stuff for WordPress. CSS. Yeah, and even more so, you have to, if you don't know actual coding, you won't be able to really figure out. It'll be a brand new education because they label everything HTML stuff. But it's great. No, we actually just rebuilt the Quick site. I did it. I rebuilt the Quick site in Webflow because I wanted to learn it, and he wanted to use it, and it's really nice. I spent 2 solid weeks in it. I'm looking at it. So my current site's on Wix because I just needed something, right? And I've been using Squarespace and had some real back-end issues with Squarespace on integrations and things like that, and they were really killing me. I was losing money over some integrations and stuff, and they wouldn't help me. Squarespace is fine. Screw y'all then. So I went to Wix, and I think they're similar. At this point,
really? Mentally, I place Wix at the bottom of the barrel.
Oh yeah,
right? Because and I don't know why this is, right? And I might be drinking some of the same Kool-Aid that I hated whenever I was doing WordPress websites and people were like, "Oh, WordPress sucks." I'm trying to check my bias a little bit because I've never really played with it. I have no idea if it's any good or not. Why would you want to use Webflow? Is it just easier than WordPress? Do you have more control? I mean, there's got to be a reason to not just go regular WordPress, right?
Yeah, because and we're starting to really get into the inside baseball here, right? Is the WordPress stuff. One of the reasons it's so fantastic is they have such a massive marketplace for integrations and apps and things like that. What they don't have, which is where I believe Squarespace was the first to do it, was the ability to do the drag and drop type styling. Like you actually have to have somebody who knows how to either go pick up a template and go work with the template inside the boundaries that you have, or hire somebody who can make the modifications to a template you like 80% of, or it's always this percentage of I need a coder to do something for WordPress. Webflow it's got the drag and drop ability that you wish WordPress did. And it's more dynamic. They also have databases, so you can actually build out pages or sections of pages and save it as a template and literally use it like a drag and drop element.
Oh, that's cool.
You're building a new page. Yeah, stuff like that. It's got actually a bunch of really cool features. So Webflow is probably my favorite at the moment, if it wasn't for such a long, good history with WordPress. I like WordPress a lot. It's just
I do too.
The drag and drop element's tough to beat when you're building.
I mean, and I feel like you can get drag and drop stuff now on WordPress, right? I mean, isn't that Elementor's whole deal?
Well, there's people that build things that are more drag and drop for sure.
Okay.
Just the pure coding of WordPress.
But you like that out of the box that does that. You don't have to go hunting and looking for it. That makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
Man, I'm really glad I don't do websites anymore. Like,
me too, actually.
Really, really, really glad. I saw this guy, and he's running this cold email campaign, and he's building people websites that are $375, and you only pay after you see them and like them. And I'm like, is that the? I mean, that's not the going market for it. I mean, it just can't be. But
that's right there.
It is. Yeah, for sure it is. Yeah.
Yikes. Well, let's see, today I've got, I'm actually meeting a guy that's a designer that I've connected to through Quirk, but he's got a podcast called Keep Baseball Great. So we're going to go talk shop about the podcast, see if I can't give him some ideas to help him get that off the ground. So that'll be fun.
Cool.
And then I've got a couple other meetings. I've got several work pieces to finish up.
Yeah.
I'm starting my list hunting today. So that's starting today. I'm going to reach out to Social Dominance because I've got their phone number, so I'm going to do that. And so I built this in yesterday thinking, gosh, what would be a great way to keep me stopping at 4? I scheduled a massage after 4.
Dope.
So
I like that.
I will be stopping working.
I like that a lot. I was going to ask you what you did yesterday from 4 to 5.
I played PS4.
Good for you, man. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, not the whole time, but I played from about 6 to 8 or 8:15.
Nice, dude.
Horizon.
What are you playing?
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, I haven't. That sounds vaguely familiar. Alice has been playing. So Melissa really likes Guitar Hero, and so over the weekend we were like, "Well, let's get on Guitar Hero." So we actually have Guitar Hero, like a lot of them. We probably have 6 or 7 of them throughout different consoles. Because I'm looking at a PS2. There's a PS3. There's a Wii. There's an old school Nintendo and a Super Nintendo Classic just right here in this room, and then we've got a PS4 in the other room, and Melissa loves this and is so good at it. It's not any fun to play with her. So I'm just like, I don't want to play against her. And because like she was a piano player for 15 years and competed at state level, so she's really good at like disconnecting from her hands. Oh, dude, she's really good at piano. Yeah.
Okay.
Our first year together, I bought her an electric piano because like we were living in an apartment and she couldn't have hers. And anyway, so Alice has been playing Guitar Hero like the very first one. So I have heard Smoke on the Water way more than anybody's been to.
And it's funny when they come on the radio, you're like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So she's been digging that. I mean, yesterday was the very first thing she did. She got up and she put on a rocker outfit and came in here and played. And then I was like, not during work hours, kiddo. So for my 4 to 5 yesterday, we just played cards, which was like really, really awesome. I'm showing her how to play Speed, which is like the best like fast card game. So she's digging that. And then yesterday at 5, I had a call with David, who's my therapist essentially, and been talking to him for a while. And so that's what I did from 5. I don't really count that work though. And then, yeah, I love the massage thing at 4 o'clock. That is, because you're not going to skip that.
No, it's motivation to stop. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm rewarding early for this because, I mean, I'm hoping that my new day is like 8 to 4. That's what I'm hoping this week starts me down the path of.
Yeah.
And then, you know.
I'll tell you what, Alice was so stoked that I was done at work at 4, and she was like, "Are you done?" And I was like, "Well, I've got a call in an hour, but it's not really a work call. It's just a call." And she was just like, "So you're done?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Okay, I want to go play outside." I was like, "Can we not play outside because it is hot as like the sun out there?" Yeah. She was like, "Yeah, okay, we can play cards." But yeah, then we got to play cards, and it was just nice. And I was like, "Man, I could do this every day. Why am I not doing this every day?"
Right. I mean, that's the point, right?
It's supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know, we get caught up chasing other points that don't really help us. And
I haven't done anything yet, but I can kind of see this coming as an effect of doing this. Right? It's the whole, absence makes the heart grow fonder type of thing. Like when you shorten your day and actually, not even shorten, but like when you cut it off and like after a certain time, you actually don't even think about work. You just go do things with people you like and enjoy and hang out. Mm-hmm. The next morning, work becomes like, yes, let's do that.
Yeah, I was doing my journaling last night, and work stuff like kept coming up. And normally I try to like really hard to like not to do that. And then I was like, hey, this is bubbling up for a reason. So I would just write it down. And then, at the end of it, I had 4 or 5 things kind of intermingled into my journaling about like to-dos that I needed to get done. Just like little bitty blocking and tackling things. So I've been coming in here and writing these on the board so that way I make sure that I get them done. Because they're bubbling up because they're important enough that I don't want to forget. So let's write them down and get them in the to-do list. So.
Yeah, I love that. The parking lot kind of mentality is fantastic, and I have the same thing. I have a little square area on my board for exact stuff like that.
Yeah, I gave Alice and Melissa like little corners of my board, so that way if there's something that they need me to do, they can just come in here and write it on here because what's in front of you gets done. And right now under Alice it says to give me a hug 24/7. So I get really really awesome. Really cool messages like that on there, which is fantastic.
Yeah, check mark on that for sure.
Yeah.
So I've got this. So this is what's coming up for me, right? Mine is I've got this thing right here on my morning mindset on my planner that says one action I could take today to demonstrate excellence or real value is. And there's another one that says one bold action I could take today is. So I've been struggling with finding those.
I mean, the value thing is a little bit thin, right? Because I can't decide if this really bothers me or not, but everybody's talking about give value, give value, give value, give value, give value, and what that means for like a lot of people is do it for free, do it for free, do it for free. There was this whole conversation in a group I'm in on Facebook, and this guy said. Do you agree or disagree that if you are trying to sell results to someone and you've not worked with someone else, you're doing them a disservice? And then everyone piles on and they're like, yeah, that's true. You shouldn't charge at all for the first couple of clients. You're supposed to go do it for free and get some experience and everything else. And I was just like, no, like you can't promise the results, but you can still promise like the execution of certain milestones and things that you have control over. And then you can go have a conversation after the trial period about, hey, what kind of results did this bring? Do we need to adjust? Do we need to cancel? Or do we need to keep going? Right? Like when you're starting out, don't take the weight of, I got to generate so many leads. I got to make the phone ring so many times. I'm going to do this for you, right? I'm going to blog. I'm going to call. I'm going to email. I'm going to, network. Whatever the service is, right? You're still just saying, hey, look, do you think these inputs will get you to where you're trying to go? Because I think they will, but we're not sure until we try. Would you like to try? Like, if you don't have case studies or historical evidence about things that you've done for other clients, go make it about what you're going to do for them. Hey, if I can handle that stuff for you in a way that takes it off of your plate and you don't have to deal with it, and it's moving you towards these things, would that be worth the conversation? Mm-hmm. Yes. And then you charge for your time. Now, later on, hopefully you're not charging just for your time and you're charging based upon the benefit that the other person gets from the work that you're doing together. because like that's how you make really good money. It's not being the cheapest. It's not being the most expensive. It's the person who prices themselves based upon the value that they bring to their clients.
Yeah, the way I've treated that ladder is pay if you don't have experience. You know, like you're starting something new. It is I go do things for my friends for free and ask them for testimonials. That way, I have testimonials or case studies. Then I charge by the hour if I really feel like I don't have enough there. That way, at least I'm getting paid, like you said, getting paid for my time to execute on things. But then as quickly as possible, get to a value model where what would this mean to your business?
Absolutely.
You know?
And when the important thing about that is that when you're having that conversation, people, in my experience, right? I haven't sold to everybody, but in my experience, people don't understand this as a concept. They just want to know how much it costs, right? So, you know, and you're going to try to deflect. Well, I'm not really sure, right? You know, can I ask you some more questions? Which is true because everybody hates the it depends answer that every consultant wants to give them, right? So you've got to so this is why I talk about like pain points and everything else like this before I talk about money, right? Because I want them to tell me what they're missing in their business by not having someone who does what I do with them, right? And I let them lead that way. Now, the interesting thing is that, you know, once we get like to the recap and we're kind of making sure they're on the same page about all their pain points and everything else, is like you're trying to ball that all of that pain up into one big like lump sum kind of like wrecking ball that you can use for the rest of the conversation, right? Because then when you're going to talk about like financials, hey, what does it mean for you to not have that on your plate anymore? Like what would that do for you? You know, and then when you're framing financials around that idea, you really got to stick to your guns. Hey, like I'm curious, what's it worth to you if this isn't stuff that you have to do anymore? Well, you tell me how much it costs. I don't know. I don't know what it means for you, and I don't want to be too far outside of the ballpark. So could you let me know? And what's weird is people really hate this because they've been sold to, you know, they've had the whole thing about $500 and they come in at like $499 or something like that. And I get that that's like an issue, but like, isn't it better to show up and be like, hey, here's what I can pay for this? Like at the end of the day.
Yeah. But I think what bothers when I'm being sold like that is the fact that I feel like you don't know what your product's worth or your service is worth. When I have to tell you what I want to pay you, and you can't just tell me how much this costs, I'm like, well, then he's trying to. I think the opposite. I think he's trying to see if I'll give a bigger number than he was actually going to give me, so that he can charge me that. That's what it feels like from a sales, a negative salesperson history.
Yeah, and I totally get that. My premise is. Right, and I don't know how to say this without sounding like cheesy, right? And this is like something that I've been working on because like I want to try to express an opinion around like, hey, you know, not everybody can afford everything that I do, and that's fine. And I really try to help everybody that I can. So could we have a conversation about what it would be worth if you didn't have to do these things?
Sure.
Right, and really get into it around like, yeah, I've got my pricing, right, and my pricing is a premium, but I can make decisions to help people based upon fit and feel and impact. And
I think there's a tweak there though. Like if I were to say, okay, so what's this cost? Hey, let's role play this real quick, actually.
Yeah, sure, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so, okay, great, that sounds good. What's this cost?
Jake, you know, great question. It kind of depends upon how much of my help you actually need and want, right? Because some people need just a little bit and some people need more. I'm not really sure which one you need right now. Is it okay if I ask you some more questions and we can try to figure that out together? Because I don't want to pitch you my top end price if that's not really what you need. Is that okay?
Yeah, and actually, okay, blah, 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 blah. Okay, yeah, I think I actually need the full thing. Like I probably need everything that you just kind of walk me through.
Okay.
I need it all off my plate.
Okay. And, you know, all off of your plate means that a bigger slice is going to be handled by us versus a smaller slice, right? So, you know, for people that are looking to do everything, you know, there's a couple of ranges, right? Some people are spending anywhere between $7,000 and $9,000, and some people are spending anywhere between $9,000 and $15,000, which is a pretty big gap. But there is some nuance there at that highest level. Is that even in the ballpark for you?
Yeah, I mean, if it works, for sure.
Okay. How'd you come up?
That's different. See, to me, what you did was you stepped into the amount of help I needed and gave me a price range based on it. That's not what I was referring to actually when getting sold. What's your budget? Like, you don't need to know my budget to tell me how much you charge. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I get that question, and I understand people wanting to know if they're in the range by asking someone their budget. But I think you can do it the way you did it, or even the way I've done it is, and tell me what you think of this, is when we get to the point where it's time to talk price, okay, it's, we talked at the beginning about if this seems like a good fit, we can talk about working together, right? Yeah, like you might be a good fit. Is it time to talk about, how much this is going to cost? Yeah. Okay. Well, typically based on what it sounds like you need, we charge about X $1,000, whatever it is. It doesn't sound like something that's in your price range. And then if they say no, I can say, okay, great. What were you looking to spend? And then I can decide if I want to put in payments or if I want to say, well, I'm sorry, that's actually pretty well below what we typically charge.
So do you do that? Do you do that conversation as part of your pitch?
Yeah, at the end, like once we've gone through the pain and.
Yeah. Not me. I want to talk about it earlier because I want to make a decision earlier about if this is someone I need to be talking with, right? Because the way that I learned it, and this makes sense to me, right? I didn't come up with this, is that if you do a really good job in pain, right, of asking really good questions, probing, trying to diagnose the problem and understand why and everything else like this, your rapport and your trust should be as high as it is almost possible of being, right? So if you're going to talk about money, you want to talk about money right after that point.
Yeah.
Right? Because rapport and everything is high. So like I don't want to be going along, right? Build all this rapport, and then it's like, okay, cool, and then let's pitch, right? And then have a rapport.
No, I do it right after ping because it's great. Sounds like based on what you're dealing with, we should be talking about working together, right?
I always give them ranges so that way they can pick the range, and then I can say why that one, right? Like at least two. What's that?
Could you do that with 2 solid price points instead of ranges? That way, same idea, right?
Well, the thing about a range, right, is that it removes some of the pressure off of the prospect, right? If I say like, hey, based upon what we've talked about, this might be anywhere between $6,000 and like $8,000, right? It's still like there's still some nuance and some stuff to figure out. Whereas I think if you just land it with like a point, $750. Oh, I'm not sure. You know what I'm saying? And the other thing is that everybody wants to feel like they're getting like a customized deal, right? Like nobody really wants the thing off the shelf, So when you can be like, I'm not really sure. Let me take this back to my team and we'll talk about it and with the price range that you have done, and then I can come back with the scope of work that addresses the big points at this price range. Is that okay? Because one of the things that I do is like, hey, are we talking about the wish list or are we talking about the budget list?
Right.
I use that one a lot.
We should talk about this tomorrow from a scale standpoint, because I want to know what happens when you don't have the time to do all the ranged custom versions of your thing, and you don't. I mean, you should have time because you're growing.
Yeah. Let's talk about that tomorrow.
Cool. Well, 8:15.
8:15. All right, I'm gonna go for a walk.
Get your walk. I'm gonna go meet my buddy, and then we're gonna be done by 4, right?
Absolutely, man.
All right, man. Have a good day.